But this is going to be a fun team to watch moving forward. I do believe that this team, in my opinion, is league pass worthy. They have the pieces. They're up and coming team. My question for them is going to be, let's take the next step in this rebuild. They go from a team that's young to let's see if we can be a team that maybe makes some noise. And I think the in-season tournament could be a perfect place for a team like the Orlando Magic to say, hey, why don't we try to go for this and have that be their stepping stone? A lot of teams, like I said, I'm going to compare this to the Premier League, which is English soccer, and just like how these FA Cups, the Carabao Cups are stepping stones for some of these teams that are maybe never going to win the Premier League because of how much money is invested in the top 6 teams. But in the NBA, this could be a perfect opportunity for a team like this to get that momentum, maybe win that whole tournament, and then maybe in a year or two they finally start, competing in the playoffs. Am I wrong for that kind of thinking, or where do we see the Orlando Magic? I have them as league pass worthy, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think they're league pass worthy. I would say I didn't like their draft this year. Like, I think I
agree with you.
Yeah, like, I mean, the Anthony Black pick, I think he's a good player, but I mean, do you really need another guard when you already have Cole, Suggs, and Markelle Fultz, Like,
those guys are
even
mid.
if you... Oh, okay, well, no Markelle slander allowed. But even if you trade one of those guards, like Cole, the guard that everybody names, you still have a logjam with those 3 guards. Anthony Black needs minutes, and Jalen needs minutes. So, like, Kell is the lead ball handler who's really good. But, like, I would have liked to see them take a center because I think, like you said, Bernie, like, they can make some noise in the in-season tournament. And I was seeing them as, like, a play-in team. But Wendell Carter is, like, their entire fulcrum on offense and defense. Yeah. And this team goes as he goes. If he's healthy, they can win games. If he's out, they're going to lose. It doesn't matter. Like, they'll be fun to watch, but they're going to lose. So I would have like they had the 11th pick and they took Jet Howard. I was hoping they were going to take Derek Lively. I think that would have been, like, the perfect fit for this team. Yeah. I mean, but yeah, still league pass worthy. They're going to be really fun with guys like Franz, Paulo, my Seattle boy. But yeah, I would have liked to see them, like, try to go in the direction of, I know they needed shooting, which is why they took Jet, but they needed somebody that can help them win more games, which would have been Derek Lively, in my opinion.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I really wanted to put this team in playoff bound, but I think this offseason really didn't go their way. Like, in my opinion, this was kind of a misstep, like, at every direction. Not like, it wasn't like 1 step forward, 2 steps back. It was just kind of neutral step. It was sidestepping, really. And I agree with you, Brad. Like, I don't think the draft was very good. Bernie, I know your Anthony Black slander runs deep. I know you feel very strongly about Anthony Black, but really, I feel like this was the offseason they needed to consolidate, man. Like, the timeline was screaming at them like, you have a lot of young dudes who are really good and ready to take that step up in competitiveness, and you kind of just held them back another year. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that was the move, man. Like, for as good as Anthony Black could be, they could have just consolidated a bunch of stuff and moved up to go get a guy like Scoot. I know my propaganda runs deep. I'm just saying, literally, they could have moved up to get that guy. Right? I honestly think they should have moved up. If anybody, they should have just gone for 4 and gotten Amen Thompson. He was a perfect fit in terms of size, all of the different layers of athleticism he has, and just that, he really is kind of like that, maybe what we were thinking Ben Simmons could have been, right? In terms of just a freak athlete, huge point guard who can really just slash, but he doesn't need to have the ball all the time either, right? But they didn't do any of that. And I think that the guard situation is genuinely a problem for them. Like, if Anthony Black is not as good as you think he is, Bernie, this team has a guard problem. Because really, they're going to end up having to rely on these older dudes who are going to eat minutes from the young dudes. Young dudes are going to keep losing value. And the young dudes or the older dudes just aren't good enough to get them over the hump. So they're kind of literally where they were last season. The one thing I would say, and this is the reason they have to be league pass worthy, they were my number 1 league pass team for last year coming into the season. It's 2 names. It's Franz Wagner and Paolo. I mean, those dudes are unbelievable. If they can stay healthy, if they can keep developing the way they were last season, but especially both of them in the FIBA tournament this offseason, I mean, those 2 dudes are going to be an actual nightmare going forward. And in a lot of ways, they're kind of like the East's version of the Thunder in the sense that, like, I think of like Shea and Josh Giddey are like a real problem for guards. For forwards, Franz and Paolo are like a huge issue. Those guys are so big, so skilled, so versatile. There is not very many teams in the East who are going to have an answer for those guys. So I would have really liked to see a point guard who could have facilitated this team, properly. And I don't think they have that.
Markel erasure. That's crazy. This is crazy. Markel
I like
is that point
Markel.
guard.
I like Markel, but do you think he has that level to go up where he's going to be that point guard for them, like in big playoff series, like 3 years from now? Like,
I think so. I truly do. I'm a huge because he does it on both ends, and like he is a dog.
Yeah,
if his jumper can come in,
I think maybe
he's a
more
great
it's
passer
the second
too.
guy. Yeah, he's good. I'm not trying to slander Markel too much. That's kind of the problem though, Brad, for me. Like, he's my favorite guard of theirs by far, and they kind of treat
they
him
took
like an
him out.
afterthought.
Yeah.
Like they keep trying to draft him out of a spot, right? Which is more the problem.
Which is
like,
crazy.
Yeah.
he's the best guard they have. Like, what's Mac McClung doing on this team? Why did they go sign basketball's Jack Harlow? Like, what is this?
That's exactly why. That's exactly
What does he do?
People in the seats, especially in Orlando, Florida, bro. People, Mac McClung.
Look at this white guy that could dunk. It's like,
Yeah.
get out of here, dude. This dude isn't. There's a reason he wasn't on a team for this long. I mean, he's not answering the problems this team has. So
I'm assuming
he'll
he's
be on
probably
the
a
D
G
League
League.
team.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's probably
Yeah.
a G League guy. There's no way he's on this roster. Maybe he's
he's on the roster right now. So
well, maybe they signed him just to like have him in the dunk competition, and then they said, okay, you're going back down. You're going back down.
This is so we don't need to send Paolo. We're gonna keep you around.
Yeah,
he'll distract. Yeah, I like this team, but yes, lots of questions still. I do like. I like their coach though. I like their coach. What's his name?
Great
Jamal
coach.
Mosley.
Yep.
Yeah, I like him a lot. I still think they have a lot of leg room to get better this season, but they definitely they're not going to maximize this season. That much is for sure. I think they have already communicated that to us as basketball fans.
Yeah.
Yeah.